their strengths, values, weaknesses, and areas for growth. So at this point, I would like to call on Miss Chin Ashraf to give us a word of prayer. Ms. Ashraf, please, can you lead us with a word of prayer before we can dive into the program itself?
Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of love. Thank you for this opportunity of gathering us here today, even though we know we are from different locations. Father, Lord, I invite your presence into this virtual meeting. Lord, I commit this meeting into your hands. Father, Lord, I pray for understanding, and I pray that you open our hearts and our minds and refresh our spirits. Lord, I pray for every listener. I pray that you should guide every action, every activity, and every intervention that's about to take place. Father, thank you for what you are about to do. Lord, I surrender this program into your hands, Father, and I trust that your will shall be done. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Ms. Ashraf, for the word of prayer. So at this moment, I would like us to look at the overview of this program of today. And under this overview, are we together? Please, if you're getting it, can you indicate, please? All right, thank you. So, under this overview of the program is objectives and the goal of the mentorship program. I gave it at the beginning, but let me repeat it. To help mentees discover who they truly are, their strengths, their values, weaknesses, and the areas of growth. I believe during the very first time we were meeting, we actually handled some of these things, but just due to the network problem, we could not really go through it well. So that is what we are going to be looking at. Okay. And I want us to look at our shared values. And under these are shared values or community guidelines. We have to understand that for us to be able to go through this mentorship program successfully, we have to be able to respect everyone, irrespective of the age or their individual personalities. We just have to show respect to everyone. All of us, we are here today to grow. So we must learn how to respect everyone. And the next thing we'll be looking at, practice active listening. We have to practice active listening. It is very important for us to listen, follow up everything that we are discussing here today in order for us to be able to have that impact or to experience the impact of this mentorship program. We have to be able to practice active listening. The next point is maintain confidentiality. This one is a very important one. Someone can share something and then personal about his or her life, and then you take it out and share it with everybody that, do you not miss this or Mr. This said this, that? No. We have to maintain confidentiality. Each and every one of us here, we are here to grow. So for us to be able to grow, we must learn how to be confidential. The next thing is embrace discomfort as growth. We have to learn how to embrace discomfort. Most of us, we are facing network issues. We have to embrace it as a means of growth. Maybe during the time for the meeting, we have other things that we have to do. We find it very difficult, but we need to embrace it as an opportunity for us to grow. So all the assignments that we'll have to do, at times it becomes challenging for us to do these assignments. But for us to grow, we must be willing to embrace it as a means of growth. All right. So I don't know if there are any other things that we can want to share that we can add to this particular shared these are community guidelines. Are there any other things that we want to add to it or not?
Yeah, we can add effective time management. Effective time management. When we say we're starting at 8 o'clock, it should be strictly 8 o'clock. And when we say it is 1 to 2 hours, it will be strictly 1 to 2 hours. So I will call on everybody. You're going to say something. You will unmute your mic and you will say something. What culture do you want us to cultivate for the effective management of this program? Like Ms. Leader Wiley said, respect for all persons, practice active listening, maintain confidentiality, embrace discomfort as growth. I have added effective time management. So I call on Ms. Mbana Faith, add one other culture or one other commitment you think is vital for our culture. All right, we will come back to Ms. Faith. Let's move to Leslie. Ms. Leslie, kindly unmute your mic and tell us, add one other culture or one other commitment you think is vital for our program to be effective, to be successful, and to be impactful.
All right. Good evening to everyone. Good evening, sir. Good evening to everyone. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. I don't know if you are getting me. I think for me, we should like add something like more follow up. That is what you learn here. They should maybe be let me say 1 week or 1 month follow up to see into it that whatever we learn here we put it into practice. We should put it into practice. Let's say for example,
Miss Leslie, we are not getting you. If I'm not mistaken, I stopped getting you from the moment you were about giving an example. You said, for example, and that was all. We didn't hear the example.
Okay, the example. Okay, what I'm saying, the example I was talking about. Please, are you getting me now? Please indicate if you are getting me. Okay, the example I was talking about is that, like, let's say if they teach something like something on leadership, a group should be given to maybe a person, and you maybe do follow up, evaluate, look see into it that whatever we are being taught here, we practice it in that group, like lead that group. We should lead that group of persons to see into it that we actually practice. We should not just come and learn and go, but there should be something or more. If you follow up, even if it's 1 week, or the attestation or a certificate is being issued. So that's what I was talking about. I don't know if you have gotten me now.
All right, your point is well gotten. Before we move on to the next person, please let's be time conscious. Once you are called up, at least indicate with the comments to show that you have gotten what we are saying. Reply with the comment. Let's know that you're connected, you're following up. Don't keep us waiting for some minutes before coming in. So we go back to Miss Faith. Miss Faith, kindly unmute your mic and add something to our shared commitments. Let's be very quick about it.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity to share. Actually, I don't have anything new to add apart from what has already been mentioned. But if I'm to add something, I would think of adaptability, that we should be able to adapt to new challenges and rules. Like, for example, I can remember during our last meeting, Miss Lydia was to coordinate certain areas, but because I don't know if the other person, there are two people in charge of organizing the program. I don't know if the other person who was supposed to assist her, if she could be able to adapt to maybe at the moment to fit in for Miss Lydia's position, maybe would have been able to manage time. Because had it been at the moment when Miss Lydia was absent because of network issues, Miss Adrat would have fit in to assist, that's to take up the role of Miss Lydia in the time when she was absent. It would have saved a lot of time. So that's what I'm thinking of adding from what I've noticed from the last meeting. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
All right, you're welcome. Your point well taken. Adaptability. So while one of the coordinators is getting to Miss Antoinette to brief her on what we're talking about, I would love to hear from Miss Ngum Brittany. Kindly unmute your mic and add to our commitment. All right, Miss Ngum Brittany seems to be disconnected. Maybe her network is an issue. All right, Miss Antoinette, you're asking, can you get what we're talking about? We're talking about our shared commitments. We spoke about respect for all persons, practice active listening, maintain confidentiality, embrace discomfort as growth, sustainable monitoring and evaluation, adaptability. So the shared commitments are simply our culture, how we need to interact, how we need to behave, what we need to understand in order for this program to be successful. So we gave the room for each participant to throw in one other shared commitment that you think if we practice this discipline or this culture, it will go a long way to effectively manage this 4 weeks program. So Ms. Antoinette, can you think of any and add to what have already been discussed so far? All right, while Ms. Antoinette is thinking, Ms. Brittany is connected back. Ms. Brittany, please kindly unmute your mic and give us an added shared commitment you think is relevant for the success of this program.
Good evening, sir, and good evening to everyone. Sir, actually, I'm still thinking. What was in my mind was probably what you said. That is effective time management. So for now, I'm still thinking of what else to add. Though what I'm thinking is not in accordance to what we're saying now, because I was thinking of inside meeting. I don't think it's in accordance to what we're talking about right now.
Okay, Ms. Ngom Brittany, let's move over to Ms. Antoinette. Ms. Antoinette, can you add something to our shared commitment?
Good evening to everyone and good evening, sir. Please, if you're getting me, indicate, please.
Si on sait que tu voles 100 millions, on t'exécute. Et que 15 personnes volent 100 millions,
Is someone getting me? Okay. What I have to contribute, I don't know if I can type it because right now I'm in the car. I'm inside the car, so the noise and people talking from behind, I'm sure some of us won't be able to get. Thank you, sir.
All right, so we'll be looking at the next thing on the list. So the last under the objective is to begin the journey of personal reflection. So as we go through this program, always ensure to carry out personal reflection as we do or take on each activity. Always ensure to reflect over it over and over again. Okay, so we have a weekly structure that we follow every Tuesday and Friday, 8 to 9. But since the network is always very unstable, usually we'll be rescheduling the program as time goes on, and we'll always ensure to get to each one to get to everyone about the program or the structure for this or that particular week using different communication channels. Now, let us look at something very interesting, which is icebreaker activity. There was an assignment that Sir gave us to do, and all of us were supposed to write 2 truths, something that is truth or a fact about ourselves, and 1 false, 1 false. So Miss Ashraf is going to be the one to come in to lead us on that. We'll be looking at the icebreaker activity. That is 2 truths and 1 false. So there is something very interesting that is hidden inside this particular icebreaker. And I would like us to be connected as Miss Ashraf will lead us. Okay. Miss Ashraf seems like she's not connected. All right. So Miss Ashraf, are you there? Her network seems to be unstable.
All right. That notwithstanding, while Ms. Ashraf is trying to connect, we are going to continue with the truth and 1 false. Like Ms. Lydia rightly explained, this was a task I gave earlier within the week, and I said every participant, you should write 2 statements about yourself, which are true, and the 3rd statement about yourself, which is a false statement. The false statement must not be the 3rd statement. It could be your 1st statement, it could be your 2nd statement. You get. So this is a kind of a game where each participant, you're going to tell us the 3 statements about yourself, and then we try to guess out which statement among the 3 is the false one. And when everybody has guessed, maybe person A says that is statement 1, person 2 says statement 2, and person C says statement 3. You who gave the statement, you come back and tell us which statement among the 3 is actually the false one. So you are going to number your statements, statement 1, statement 2, and statement 3. Are we ready? If you're ready, just type ready in the group. Let me see how many of us are ready. If you're ready, can you just type ready? Please, we are waiting. Let's save time. Or let me give 3 minutes for those who did not write down their statements. So you should write your statement right now. Be very quick about it. Since it was an exercise that was given over the week, I believe you all were supposed to have written your statements by now. If not, then use the next 3 minutes to write your statement. So at exactly 8:35, everybody will be required to present their statements. So this is what we're going to do. Once your 3 statements are ready, type it out and send to the group. Statement 1, you type out the statement. Statement 2, you type it out. Statement 3, you type it out. Type out the 3 statements in one single message and send to the group. Then I recommend you write your name on the message as well. So you write your name and you type out your 3 statements. You might just number it as 1, 2, 3. So that being said, I want to see everybody typing. So, to some of you who might be thinking, what is the significance of this game in your personal development journey? Let me use a few minutes while you're typing out your statements to tell you the importance of this. When we say type out two statements about yourself that are true and one which is false, means a total of three statements. From the two statements about yourself that is true, it helps us and everyone else best understand your personality. Take, for example, if you write, might be statement 1, I am good at time management. Statement 2, I am a good team leader. Statement 3, might be statement 3, I am good at multitasking. And let's say statement 2, I am a good team leader, is a false statement. All right, we're going to know that, all right, you are a good time manager, you are good at multitasking, but you are not good at leadership. So we know that we need to emphasize or lay emphasis on pruning you up to be better at that statement which is false about your life, such that it should not be a dilemma against you. You should be able to work on it, attain progress towards it. So this is more of, it's not just a game, but helps us to know you better, know your personality better, know might be your strengths, your weakness or weaknesses, whatever the case may be. And equally helps us in building trust, knowing where you are weaker at or where you are weak at. Helps us to equally know where to train you more on. So to maybe person X, you are weak at leadership. To person Y, you are weak at multitasking. To another person, procrastination is your dilemma. So the different weaknesses you might have tells us what we need to work on. So while we are giving remedy for leadership, the person who is weak at time management, we now look for a personalized solution to that person. So we might be ministering a different, let me call it, a different prescription to person X, a different prescription to person Y, depending on their various needs. So that being said, I will start reading out the statements, and when I read out any statement, everybody try to guess through text. you text in the group which statement you think is false about the person. Is it statement 1, statement 2, or statement 3? So that being said, when everybody have text, I will now call on the person who sent the 3 statements to identify which statement is or was the false statement about his life or about her life. That being said, I am going to start with Miss Leslie Chibwe. Miss Leslie Chibwe, your first statement says, I am a good accountant. Your second statement says, I am a goal getter. I don't know what that means. Your third statement says, I can work in a team. That is collaboration. If I'm to paraphrase your third statement, it means you are good at collaboration or teamwork. So, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, which of these 3 statements you think is the false statement for the case of Miss Leslie Chibwe? It is a guesswork. Miss Antoinette says statement 2. Okay. Miss Brittany, what says you? Miss Faith, what says you? Which statement among these 3 do you think is the false statement? Miss Brittany says statement 2. Miss Faith, we are waiting on you. All right, Miss Faith says statement 2. So, Miss Leslie, can you come back and tell us which of these statements is the false one? Miss Leslie, are you there? Please, let's sit tight. Let us know which statement is the false one. All right, Miss Leslie says statement 2. So all those who said statement 2, you got a point right. Coordinators, please award 1 point each for those who get any statement right. In the future sessions, we are going to tell you what you will do with these points. These points are very important. Very, very important. All right, we go to the second person, Miss Antoinette. Miss Antoinette gives her 3 statements. Statement number 1, Miss Antoinette says, I am interested in health-related topics. Statement number 2 says, I ask questions to gather information. Statement number 3 says, I can sing on a high note till the end. Okay, everybody, which of these statements do you think is false about Miss Antoinette? Let's be very quick about it. Is it statement 1, statement 2, or statement number 3? Miss Ngumbweni says statement 3. I can see Miss Leslie is typing. Miss Faith, I want to see you typing. Miss Leslie says statement 3. Okay, and Miss Faith says statement 3. Miss Antoinette, which is the right statement, or which is a false statement rather? While Miss Antoinette is typing out the false statement, we move over to Miss Mbana Faith. Miss Mbana Faith gives her 3 statements. Statement 1 says, I love order and discipline. Statement 2 says, I love to talk about myself. Statement 3 says, I prefer personal space. Okay, Miss Antoinette says the third statement is false. So we are on Miss Faith. Statement 1 again, I agree, says, I love order and discipline. Statement 2 says, I love to speak about myself. Statement 3 says, I prefer personal space. So which statement among these 3 do we think is the false one? I want to see everybody typing. All right, 2 people say statement 2. Miss Antoinette, what says you? Okay, we'll continue going further. So Miss Faith, tell us which statement is actually the false one. Is it statement 1, statement 2, or statement 3? All right, Miss Faith says statement 2 is the false statement. So everyone who mentions statement 2 are correct. Third candidate, Miss Ngum Brittany. Miss Ngum Brittany says the first statement reads, I am flexible to change and able to adjust. Second statement, I can multitask. Third statement, I am good at time management. Wow. So which statement do we think is a false statement in the case of Miss Ngum Brittany? I am flexible to change and able to adjust. I can multitask. I am good at time management. Which do we think is the false statement? Miss Antoinette says statement 1. I'm waiting for 2 more reactions or 2 more comments. Then we move forward. We have less than 30 seconds to go. Miss Leslie says statement 3 and Miss Banafe says statement 3. Okay, so Miss Brittany, which statement is actually false? Is it statement 1, statement 2, or statement number 3? All right, Miss Brittany says statement number 3. So if there's anyone who sent his or her 3 statements and have not called them out, please indicate before we move to the next agenda for today. If you sent your 3 statements and they have not been called out, I believe I have read that of Miss Leslie, I have read that of Miss Antoinette, I have read that of Miss Faith, I have read that of Miss Brittany. I believe that's all. Okay, that being said, we'll move to the next agenda for today, which is my current self versus my desired self. And here's what I want everybody to do. Very engaging. If you have a pen and paper, Very good. If not, or let me just say this: if you have a pen and paper with you, indicate in the group. Indicate with the comments. Might be just type "I have." If you don't have a pen and paper around you, just type "I don't have." If you have, kindly type "I have." If you don't have, kindly type "I don't have." All right, everybody has. So this is what you're going to do. As you can see on your screen, I am sharing my screen right now. We have the step-by-step guide. You are going to draw a vertical line on the paper in front of you. Vertical line means from up to down on the page. So on the left side, you are going to write 5 traits about yourself. 5 characteristics. You can write more than 5, there's no problem. 5 characteristics about yourself. For example, I am a good listener. I am good at public speaking. Whatever the case may be, write 5 traits about yourself. And on the right side, write 5 traits that you admire and you want to adapt, you want to acquire. Might be time management. That's a skill, a trait that you want to be able to add to acquire in addition to what you currently have. So on the left, you're describing yourself by listing the skills, the traits, your strengths, and on the right side of the paper, you are listing all that you actually desire to have. Maybe if you look at yourself 5 years from now, let me put it that way. 5 years from now, what are the skills that you desire to have attained by that time? What are the traits, the personality type you want to have attained 5 years from today? So assume that where you're seated right now, your 5-year self should just walk into your room. How do you visualize that 5-year self? How will she look like? How will he look like? Assume that your 5-year self is in your class right now. How do you think that 5-year self is going to be interacting with your fellow mates? How do you think she will handle some of the things that you are not able to handle now? How do you think that your 5-year self will be able to handle it? Might be better, might be worse, whatever the case may be. Even in your family, think of your current self and just imagine that you had an elder sister that is your 5-year self. Is everybody now getting me? I can see someone said she cannot get me clearly. Let me know from the rest if you're getting me clearly or not. All right, we proceed. As I was saying, as a equally look at your family and just visualize that you had an elder sister. Currently, you have an elder sister. Just visualize that elder sister is your 5-year older self. How do you think your 5-year older self will handle some of the current family situations? Now, assume that you are to sit with this your elder sister, which is your 5-year self, to explain your life and ask for advice. What do you think your 5-year older self will be telling you? How do you think your 5-year older self will be advising you to handle your current situations? I'm saying all this to open your mind to know what you should write on the right side of the paper, the kind of person you want to be 5 years from now. Just state it in point form. State them in point form, and by the end of today, you are going to post to the group that picture. Make sure you snap it to be very bright. It should be bright enough so that we can talk about it and derive personalized strategies for you to attain that goal. I believe it is well understood. Or if anyone has a question, the person should ask. All right, Miss Brini says the last point is not understood. Can I please take it all over? I use the example of your family. I said, imagine you have an elder sister, and that elder sister is your 5-year older self. The person you want to be 5 years from now, right? Just imagine that person is currently your elder sister. Now, you walk up to this your elder sister and you explain your life to this your elder sister. The challenges you're facing, your difficulties, your weaknesses. What do you think that this your elder sister, this your 5-year-old self from now will tell you or will advise you or will be training you on? What caution do you think she will be giving to you based on what you are going to draw from her to tell me the kind of person you want to be 5 years from now? You want to be someone might be, you want to be a good mentor that pays active attention to the cries of people. Or this your 5-year self, is she going to be the type that the moment you start talking about your problems, you say, enough, it's your business, I don't care. Whatever the case may be, just be visualizing different scenarios about your life, interactions between your current self and your future self, considering that this future self is your elder sister right now, or is your elder brother right now. What are the personality traits, the culture, the disciplines, the skills that you would love this your elder sister, this your 5-year self to possess? So on the right side of your paper, you are going to list down all those commitments or personality traits or skills that you want your 5-year self to possess. And on the left side of the paper, you are going to be describing your current self. What do you currently have as skills or disciplines or commitments, whatever the case might be? I hope it's better understood now, Miss Brittany. Let me know if you understand better or you need further explanation on anything. Okay. So anyone who is done writing at any point in time, you are going to indicate that you are done. We will not give you the entire time to write everything about yourself, okay? Maybe after this section, you can still take out time to write in detail and come to my inbox. But for now, given the short time we have, just write down what you can write. Obviously, you cannot write down everything now. It might be 2 minutes or let's say 3 minutes. The time now is 8:58. So at exactly 9 o'clock, you stop writing and everybody post what you have. You are going to post what you have here on the platform. We are going to analyze it together before we move to the next engaging activity. You might choose to write, might be just 2 or 3 points on the left and on the right, might be 5 points on the left and on the right. Whatever the case may be, that suits you best. Your current self have to deal with your current potentials, your current strengths, could equally be your current weaknesses. Just describe your current self and then visualize 5 years from now, that person you want to be. Dress the way you want him or you want her to be dressed. Just imagine your future self giving a talk at Amphi 650 in the University of Bamenda or Amphitheater 1000 in the University of Yaoundé. How is she going to be dressed? What would the hairstyle look like? What would she be saying to the youth? Where would she be in life? What job or what social status will she be? What will she be doing? What will be her occupation, her profession? What will be her strength by then? What will be her weaknesses or his weaknesses by then? Okay, so we have barely, I think, 35 seconds left. We should be rounding up. Once you are done, snap your paper and send to the group. Make sure the picture is as bright as possible so that everyone can view it. This exercise is very important. Even after this session, please hear me very well as you are writing. Always visualize yourself. Always visualize yourself. While you are writing, let me share with you my personal experience, how I got to where I am. Many people look up to me as a role model, as a mentor, as someone who has gone ahead. But then they don't know the strategies I used to get there. And it is in such programs that I give you my strategy 101. I will not give my strategy maybe in an open interview to the public. But now when I'm mentoring you one-on-one, I tell you that this is what I did. This is how I did it. Maybe this is when I did it. So maybe you can duplicate it in your own life. It might work for you. Take note that what worked for me might not necessarily work for you as well. But then I educate you on how I went about. So when I was in secondary school, or before getting to secondary school, while I was in primary school, I always had a vision or that dream of being a very wealthy man in future. Starting from, I think, primary 1 or primary 2, I always will sit and think of how wealthy I will be in the future. When I watch a Nigerian movie and I see some of these Nigerian chiefs, the Ugwe, how wealthy he is, the billionaires, how wealthy they are, I will tell myself, David, that's where you're supposed to be. So I was still a kid back then. I never know what I was doing. But then I always visualized it. At times when I'm in class and the madam is teaching or the teacher is teaching, my mind is elsewhere in the future. My mind is thinking of the car I am driving and going to places and how people are welcoming me. Until it came a moment I was so obsessed about it. I could not stop thinking. Until when I dream, I see myself riding that same car. Blue was my favorite color back then. And all the cars I think in my mind that I'm driving are always in blue. So until it was just so much that when I sleep, I dream of seeing myself driving that blue car. The power of visualizing it. You think about it until in your subconscious mind it is painted there. You begin to dream about it. So let's assume that you are a medical doctor. You dream to be a medical doctor. You will not just become a medical doctor because you are studying hard in school. Take note of that. You need to visualize yourself, see yourself working in the medical field. Think about it always. Think about it when you are idle. Fill your mind with your future. Visualizing thoughts of your future. You want to be a chartered accountant. When you are free, you are doing nothing. Don't be thinking about your problems. Think about what you will eat today. Thinking about what you will wear tomorrow. Thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about. Sometimes just think about your future. Not about the challenges that you're facing today. Just think, seeing yourself in your office. How do you want your office to look like? So when I got into secondary school, all right, then my mind was a little bit more expanded. I began to think, who do I want to be? And I was not getting the clear picture of who I wanted to be. But then I always thought on the kind of office I want to be seated in, the kind of furniture I want to be in my office. Like, I'll have the picture of this. Like, I've already planned my office in my mind, even though I don't have it. Back then, even though I did not have it. But I already planned that when you just enter my office, you will see this particular type of picture. There is this picture of a man carrying an elephant and trying to pick a cricket. And other people are scrambling to catch that cricket. And the man is also trying to catch that cricket. I already visualize that particular picture is going to be at this particular position in my office. So I visualize and fix everything already. And then there is something in psychology we call the power of attraction. What you keep thinking about, you attract it, believe it or not. If you keep thinking about your problems, you will attract those problems. If you keep thinking about your worries, what am I going to do? You are thinking about the worries, not even the solution. You continue to attract those worries. That's why you see some people, they look old while they are young. They are thinking about problems. You should not. Train your mind to think about solutions. Program your life from your head. In my head, I have built mansions. When people are seeing me and saying today that, oh, you're a successful man. In my mind, I've not even attained 1% of my success yet. Because my mind, like, I have built a whole nation, a whole continent on its own inside my mind. What I am seeing physically to me looks small. To others, it looks big, it looks great. Some people tell me, wow, we have already arrived. And when I look at myself, I say, no, I've not even started, because what I have in mind is different from, it's not yet what I am seeing physically. Visualize your life. You dream to be, might be a pastor. Visualize yourself standing on the pulpit, ministry. What is the title of my message? You see, before God started using me in the dimension of ministry, I used to think as well, especially in high school. I would think how I am ministering to people, how I am preaching to people. Until came a time when I am thinking about what I'm preaching to them and what I'm saying to them, I started taking down notes. It became a sermon for me. So I'm thinking about something. I'm visualizing it in mind. And at that moment, God is using it to speak to me, to give me a message. Write this about marriage. Write this about discipline. Write this about discipleship. Through visualization. Then you sleep, you begin to see it. How you are preaching maybe on that same message again. And all the like. Visualize your future. Visualize your solution. Sometimes I attempt to draw. I might not be a good artist when it comes to drawing, but I just attempt to draw anything about my future. It could be my future car, could be my future house, could be my future suit, the kind of dress I want to wear, my future, whatever it might be. I just visualize it. I try to put it down on paper, write it down somewhere in a book. By this year, I should be in this place. By this time, this same time next year, this is where I'm supposed to be. By this same time in 5 years, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I have what I call the book My Life Journal. My life journal, I write about my present and I write about my future. So if, for example, I should go to be with the Lord today, meaning I die today, if you open my life journal, you'll be able to know where I wanted to be in 2026 and what I wanted to do in order to get there. I have already clearly written it down such that life does not catch me by surprise. Whatever decision I am taking today, I have already planned that this is what I will do at this point in time. Before I engage in a business activity today, it's not today I conceive the idea. Okay, take for example, CornerStone Academy, the vocational training school I'm trying to open. It's not today or it's not this year I got that vision. I thought about it since I think that was 2018 or 2019. And I put it down in writing and I said to myself, David, by 2023, make sure you start CornerStone Institute or CornerStone Institute of Professional Excellence or Academy of Professional Excellence. So in 2023, I began it. Some people think I conceived the idea in 2023. No, I booked it down. 2025, we are still on it. By 2026, 2027, I will release another, let me call it, dimension of my life that I'd already written it down, planned it out. So nothing catches me by surprise. Everything is planned out. I visualize it already. I pray about it already, and I work towards it. And I tell you that it works so much for me, and it can equally work for you if you do it the right way. That being said, it is already time and above. Everybody should post the picture. Please snap and send. Just one person have posted so far, and that is Leslie. So I'm waiting for the others to post. Let's analyze that of Leslie. Okay, Leslie, for her desired self, or let's start with her current self. I am a good listener. Okay. I am good at presentation and analyzing. Okay. I am a good advisor. I am a good cook. I am flexible and adaptable to changes. All right. That's beautiful. Now, I want you to understand something here. I am a good listener. Okay, that's a strength, right? Ask yourself this question. And so what? I am a good listener, and so what? Ask yourself this question. I am good at presentation and analyzing, and so what? I am a good advisor, and so what? I am a good cook, and so what? I am flexible and adaptable to changes, and so what? Now, why do you ask yourself the question, and so what? You are good at these things, okay? So, what next? Many of us, we identify our strengths, our skills, but then we don't know what to do after that. So you're a good listener, okay, how would that help you? What are you doing about that? It's a very good strength, but what are you doing about it? You are good at cooking, okay, what are you doing about it? Any strength, any skill that you are not doing anything about it, there's no difference between you who have that skill or that strength and somebody who does not have it at all. Okay, let me take it again. Any strength, any skill that you possess, but you are doing nothing about it, there's no difference between you and someone who does not have it at all. If Samuel Eto'o did not showcase what he had, if he did not put his skill in football to use, nobody would have known that he's a great footballer. And he might just ending up in the quarters. If Francis Ngannou did not do something about his strength, if all he did was to carry firewood, his mother firewood from the farm to the house with that strength, that would be the end of his strength. It will end only in the level of his quarter. They will say, wow, this woman has a powerful son. The son carries a whole eucalyptus tree, and will end there. And to another person, he will take that skill and go to the gym and begin to train people. Another person will join the army. Another person will join boxing. So we can have the same skill, but what we do with the skill is what makes the difference. Robert Kiyosaki, he's a good writer. He's a good author. But if he does not write books, nobody is going to know about it. You have skills. You are a good listener. Okay. What do we do about it? Will it just end by knowing that you are a good listener? Is somebody understanding me? So begin to think now about your life. This strength, I am a good listener. How is it important to me? And what do I need to do about it to see results? Any skill that is not producing results, that skill is wasting. Put all your skills to produce results. Or pick the highest among, I call them strengths, strong skills. I group my skills into 3. Personally, I have my strong skills. Some set of skills, I call them my strong skills. I have my medium skills, and I have my low skills. In my strong skills, any skill that appear among my strong skills, I make sure I need to make money out of that skill. I make sure I need to create value out of that skill. Any skill that enters the dimension of strong skill in my life, I begin to ask that skill, how can I increase in value through this skill? No skill enters the realm of strong skills in my life and is not producing value. So if I have a skill that is under medium skills, I know that I need to do some finishing touches. I will not go ahead and start creating value or making money out of those skills yet. It still needs some little touching. I need to work on them a little bit to make them part of my strong skills. And if I identify a skill as a low skill, means there's a lot I still need to do about that skill to grow it. Many a times we see a low skill and we run straight to start making money out of that low skill. You are not good at sales, for example. You just saw your friend selling shoes. You carry a 100,000 and go and put into shoe business. That, hey, there's profit in shoe. You see, you're being emotional. Do you have the skill in sales? Sometimes you don't need to enter in a rush. Take out your time and build the skill in you. As you build the skill to a certain level, now you might try to do a pilot test of your skill. Let me practicalize this skill. Maybe let me do a voluntary service somewhere. Maybe let me do an internship somewhere. Let me practice it anyhow. Just think of a way to put that skill to use for a period of time. Then you see the strength of that skill, the weaknesses. You come back now and modify, bring it up to your strong skill. Hope we are getting. So you do that lesson for each of your skills you've listed on the left. Employ your skill to work. And so what can I do about it? Then on the other side, on the right side, we have my future self. You wrote, I admire to be a good public speaker. I admire to set goals and work/achieve them. I admire to be a good leader and team builder. I admire to be a good reader. I admire to be a successful entrepreneur. Okay, now all of those are good. This is the I call it the ticker or the trigger here. For all your skills on the left hand side, link them up to the disciplines on the right hand side. If you say I am a good listener, right? Look at the right hand side. Which of these skills on the right require that ability of being a good leader? So on the left, you can decide to number them A, B, C, D on the left. And on the right, you decide to number them 1, 2, 3, 4. You get? So on the right, when you number 1, 2, 3, 4, under number 1, you can then put in bracket maybe A and Z. Meaning that on the left-hand side, the skills which you have labeled A and D are required on the right under number 1. I don't know if you're getting or you're understanding me. For your desired self, and so unless her phone is low, don't bother. We are going to upload the video on YouTube so that you can always watch. So on your desired self, link them up to the skill you currently possess, which you have written on the left-hand side. Then when you do that, ask yourself this question. Is this all you need to attain this goal on the right-hand side? For example, let's say, I admire to be a good public speaker. Do you know you cannot be a good public speaker if you are not a good listener? When I say being a good listener, I don't only listen when people speak. I listen to you when you speak, and I listen to you by your body language. So I listen to you both through your verbal communication and your non-verbal communication. And to be a good public speaker, you must be able to read people's body language or languages, to know when they are interested to hear what you are saying and when they are not interested at all. So under the right hand side, let's say we number 1 as I admire to be a good public speaker. Now I put in bracket A standing for the first point on the left, which is I am a good listener. Then I ask myself, is this all that is required? If it's not all, I list a set of other things that are needed to be a good public speaker. From then now, I know what to pursue. Maybe we have spoken about, okay, I am a good listener. Another thing, you need courage. You need to be courageous, right? You need to be confident. Let me call it that way. Let me put it as confident. Let's assume that you are not confident when speaking in public, right? You cannot look at people in their eyes. Now, that is what is required, but then you don't possess it. So now you know what you need to go and acquire, what you need to go and look for. You know the skill you need to go and buy in the market. Let me call it the market of skills. So if right now your target is confidence, and you're passing somewhere and somebody is telling you there is a free workshop on graphics design, or there's a premium workshop on graphic design, it's good you should register. My dear, focus on what you need. Not every good thing is needed at every point in time. Some opportunities that show up, close your eyes to them. That is not what I'm looking for right now. Right now, I'm looking for confidence. Where can I get confidence? Now you walk up to your mentor. Can you mentor me maybe for the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months on building confidence? Many of us have mentors, but we don't even know what we should be mentored on or we should be mentored about. And how will you know, for example, if you don't clearly set down these strategies? You get? So on the right-hand side, arrange what you have listed in order of importance. In order of importance. Then you start from the first. You list out all what is needed, what you think is needed for you to attain it. You take note of what you already have, and you take note of what is lacking. And then you begin to ask yourself, how can I get this thing that is lacking so that I can complement or supplement this my desired self? Okay. So I think I've elaborated enough on the case of Leslie. For the sake of time, I will just move on to the next person. We have Miss Mbana Faith. Miss Mbana Faith says, I am an accounting student. I am an active listener. I can adapt to change, but not very often. Miss Faith, don't bother if you're not getting me clearly. The video will be uploaded and the link will be sent to you people to watch. We have barely 30 minutes left. Even Lydia is not getting me. I don't know, might be you just flag your phone and unflag it back. Sometimes when you unflag your mode, or you flag your phone and unflag it back. Let me know if you're getting me better, if you're getting me clearly, or if it is better now. Let me know if you're getting me clearly. Okay, so we proceed. Miss Faith says, I am an accounting student. Okay. I am an active listener. I can adapt to change, but not very often. I always love to do things by myself. I am good at hairdressing. I am good at making traditional regalia. I am good at and love to sing. All right, that's beautiful. So just like the case of Leslie, ask yourself this question, and so what? I am an accounting student. It is good. And so what? I am an active listener. And so what? I can adapt to change. And so what? What are you doing about it as well? I can adapt to change. What are you doing about it? I love to do things myself. Okay. What are you doing about it? And so what? You get. The question is not to mock you or to make you feel down, but for you to know that any skill that is idle, that is not creating value in your life, something is wrong somewhere. Every strong skill must be a value creator or a value booster in your life. So on the right hand side, you want to become a chartered accountant. Okay. So now I'll put in bracket, if I was the one, as you say, I want to become a chartered accountant, I'll put in bracket the first skill on the first skill on the left hand side, which is I am an accounting student, which means for me to become a chartered accountant, first I need to study accounting in school. But is that all that it requires? Studying accounting does not necessarily mean that you have the accounting skills. You get. Ask yourself, what skills are needed to become a chartered accountant? You list down the skills, and then you rate yourself. Maybe for each of the skills, you rate yourself on 100. Financial analysis. How do I rate myself on 100? The use of Microsoft Excel. How do I rate myself on 100? Financial projection, budgeting, consultancy, financial literacy, money management, time management. You rate yourself on 100. So you know which skills are your strong skills, which skills are maybe your middle skills, and which skills are your low skills, and you know which one to pursue at any given point in time. Your next point says, I want to improve my reporting skills, communication skills, and public speaking. Okay. So what you mean in other words is that You want to be a better public speaker in the future. Obviously, reporting skills goes under the chartered accountant. You cannot be a chartered accountant, for example, if you don't know how to report effectively or efficiently, or how to communicate, even presentation, how to present. You can have your report and your report at the very best in the organization, but then maybe lack of presentation skills and all the like. So some of these under the second point should be skills that you put in bracket in the first point, and you rate yourself on 100. Then the next, I want to learn to trust people with tasks, teamwork. Okay, that's important. Teamwork. Now, for your future self, you want to be a team worker. Now you look at the left-hand side. Which skills you have on the left-hand side now that relates to teamwork? Take, for example, I am an active listener. It goes a long way to relate with teamwork. You cannot work as a team if you do not listen. Okay, so that's just what you do. I'm going to end there. All what I'm saying, please actually go and implement them. Don't just hear it and it ends here. Go and do something about it. Even this same night, do something about it. Have a book. Maybe don't even have a new book, but write it somewhere. Tomorrow you buy yourself a new book and put that this is your journey book into the future. All what we are going to be discussing and doing, you'll be taking down notes. Okay, now we have Miss Brittany. Miss Brittany says, skills I have: graphic designing, you're creative and you're innovative, organization and sanitation, beautiful. Like every other person, ask yourself, and so what? Graphic designing, So what about graphic designing? What next? Creative and innovative, okay, that's nice. Are they paying you for being innovative? Are you creating value for being creative? Okay, let me elaborate something here. When we say creative and innovative, right? Let me just take, for example, that I saw this on your CV, that you are creative and you are innovative. The next question I'll ask you is, what have you created? What have you innovated? Okay, if you have not created something and you are creative, you have not innovated anything, but you are innovative. I then ask myself, so what are you doing with this skill? I used to tell people you are not creative until you create something. You are not innovative until you actually innovate something. The fact that you have a degree in business management, for example, does not mean you are creative and innovative. The fact that you have a degree in entrepreneurship does not make you creative and innovative unless you create something or you innovate something. All right. On the right hand side, skills I admire: critical thinking, beautiful, public speaking, sales, and winning contracts. Now, critical thinking, you look on the left hand side. For you to be a critical thinker, you must be creative and you must be innovative. So you put it there in bracket. But then, is that the only thing you need? You need to read books. Read books, how other people develop their critical thinking skills. Read books on mindset transformation, mindset growth. Read books on purpose, in pursuit of purpose, the purpose-driven mind. Books of Miles Monroe, for example. Next, public speaking. You look on the left-hand side. Public speaking, which skill do I possess now in the domain of public speaking? If none, then you know you need to start working on that. List the skills needed in public speaking. Rate yourself on each of the skills on 100. Sales and winning of contracts. Okay, for you to be able to win contract, number one, you should be able to identify contracts. So do you have the skills in identification, market research and analysis? Before you are able to sell, you must be able to identify a need in the market. People need this thing. I have discovered that people need this thing. The demand for this thing is high. I have discovered that though they are supplying this thing, it is not really the best way. If I come in like this, I'll be able to make more sales like this. If I innovate this strategy, or if I invent this other new strategy, I will go a long way to sell more of this product or this service. For you to be able to win contracts, you need to study maybe some fundamentals of psychology. the way you talk to people, the way I will talk to you for you to accept to sign a contract with me might not be the same way I'll talk with another person. The way I will speak with a female client is different from the way I speak with a male client. Why? I'm applying psychology. I meet with a female client, say, wow, I love your shoe. I love your hairstyle. Wow, the hairstyle is amazing, man. No, compliments. Where is a guy? I love your shoe. You just like, okay. But the lady, I love your hairstyle. Wow, you just made her day beautiful. That is psychology. So for you to be a good, let me call it contract winner, you need some fundamentals of psychology, know how the human mind behaves. If your client should say you are too expensive, play in some logical moves to be able to stimulate that client that you are expensive because you're delivering top-notch quality. You need to work on your negotiation skills, know how to negotiate, know how to close a deal, know how to sell anything, know how to package and all the like. So I can sit down and say some skills trade culture I would like my 5 steps to have. So discipline, good in management, very successful and wealthy, is distinguished, smart and outstanding banker, to be a model and an inspiration to many youths, especially women, to be an international business lady. You got very big dreams, which is good. They always say shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will fall in a star. But be careful that you shoot on a day that stars are up in the sky. If you shoot in a day that's only moon that is up and you miss, star no day for sky. I don't know where you will fall. In other words, you should know when to start. You should know when to launch and know what to launch at every point in time. These are good skills or visions you have. Know which one to start with and when to start. You cannot start with all of them at the same time. You can decide and say, for example, this 2025, just work on your skill, your mindset. 2026, you say, okay, I'm going to work on the first skill here to be disciplined. To be disciplined and good in management. That can be your vision for 2026. You can even take 2 years or 1 year, whatever it is may be. They always say that it is better to use 99 days to sharpen your cutlass and use 1 day to cut the tree than to use 99 days hit on the tree and end up not being able to cut it because your cutlass is blunt. You get. So take out your time, work on your skill. For each of them could trade your time, I will not get angry. And I should say that I will not be happy today. No matter what you do, it might not make me happy. If I made up my mind not to be happy, but God forbid, why should I make up my mind not to be happy? All right. So these are some of your weaknesses and some of your strengths that describe your current self. For the weaknesses, you need to do something about it. For example, you're shy. What do you need to do now in order to come out of that dilemma of being shy? You need to build confidence, but how do you build confidence? So you work on what I call your action plan, what you need to do to overcome the weakness. And the next thing, how are you going to do it? So I've said what you need to do, number one. And number two, how will you do it? Then number three, when are you going to do it? And lastly, number four, why are you doing it? What do you need to do? When do you need to do it? How are you going to do it? And why do you need to do it? Unless you have a strong why, your why should be your motivation. Many of us desire to be great, but our why is weak. And any vision you have, if the why is weak, when I say the why, right, I'm not saying you should go and invent why. For example, let's say the case of Miss Brittany. If I should ask you, why do you want to be an international business lady? If you start thinking of the why now, like you're trying to invent a why, then it will not be a solid why. Some people, their why, for example, I asked a lady who is a medical doctor today. Before I met her, right, she was not yet in the medical field. And then later on, she had a scholarship to go out as we worked it out. And today she's a medical doctor. She's in Germany. So when I met her, and she told me that she wants to be a medical doctor, I asked her, why do you want to be a medical doctor? She told me her why. And from her why, I was willing to invest whatever I could invest in her life for her to become a medical doctor. What did she say? She said, when she was 5 years old, when she was born, she does not know who her father is. When she was 5 years old, her mother had cancer and died. And the death of the mother was so painful to her, it made her she was psychologically tortured. And she said it took her years to recover from the death of the mother. And one of the reasons it took her years is because after the mother died, she was living now with a relative. And the relative maltreated her. The relative was a male figure. And the uncle used to rape her at that young age. You can imagine. From that young age, she was already being molested sexually. So she made a decision to herself and said that she will never watch another person's mother die because of cancer. So she has a vision that she must develop the cure for cancer. Like, it's just in view that people should not go through what she went through. And she is doing everything possible, working on research. Her project topic was centered on cancer. Any research she is doing is on cancer because she has passed through that pain, that torment, and it became her why. Such a person, even if there is no money, 20 years pass, it will not kill that vision that she has. So if your why is not strong enough, trust me, the moment temptations come, the moment distractions come, you are going to fall. You must have a strong why. All right. So that being said, let's move over to Miss Antoinette says, skills I admire to have on the right hand side in 5 years. I want to possess a bold and confident spirit. Okay. I want to be a mentor or like a role model. I want to be an adequate, be an organizer to bring people together, be a wealthy woman. Now you begin to ask yourself, so how will you do it? How will you possess boldness and confidence? How will you become a mentor or a role model? How will you advocate to be an organizer to bring people together? How will you become a wealthy woman? You understand? And link up, like I said, link up your skills on the left with what is on the right and see what is lacking. Okay, Miss Lydia. Wow, Miss Lydia took our time to type out hers. That's good. My current self, I am always willing to learn new things. Beautiful. But like I said, always ask yourself, and so what? How many new things have you learned today? How many new things did you learn yesterday? How many new things did you learn this week? I'm adaptable to change, okay? So what changes have you adapted to this month, this week, this day, this year? I am good at record management. Beautiful. So what have you recorded today? What did you record yesterday? What did you record this week? What did you record this month? Whatever you are good at, that is your strong skill. So you should be able to implement it and see results. Okay, you are a good listener. That's beautiful. You love to see others achieve their goals, which is in line with mentorship. You love, in other words, to see people successful or to be part of people's success. You might be mentoring them and all of that. So you begin to ask yourself, and so what can I do to improve? How can I improve? When? What do I need to do? When do I need to do it? How should I do it? And why should I do it? And on the right hand side, you said, we love to see failure as an opportunity to grow. Beautiful. I desire to be a good time manager, to not be a procrastinator, to develop good leadership skills, to be a good public speaker. Beautiful. Now you need to link each of those on the right with what you have on the left. So when we are done from here, everybody go and now write your detailed current self versus future self. Write it detailedly. List your current self, starting with your most strong skills. List them in order of preference, both on the right hand side and on the left hand side. And then, like I said, on the left hand side, you can decide to number them alphabetically. On the right hand side, you decide to number them 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe there will be a third column. Maybe your third column is a link between your current versus your future. You now state maybe A, B, C, D, which skill or personality trait on the left hand side pertain to what desire to you, or what do you desire for your future self on the right hand side. That being said, is there any question at this level? If you have any question at this level, I want you to indicate with a comment. Just comment question. If you don't have a question, I want you to equally comment no question. If you have a question, comment question. If you don't have a question, comment no question. All right, Miss Leslie, I want you to unmute your mic and ask your question. Be very quick about it.
Okay, so thank you. So please ask, like, for example, if you have the skill of maybe active listening, like you are good at that, how can you like maybe give us some specific, like you said, if you have a skill that you cannot put it into use, that means the skill, if you cannot put it into use to be able to earn from it, that means that skill, you are not different from somebody that does not possess that skill. So I wish to ask if you can like give us some specific things like that you can put this active listening into, that you can be able to earn from it. Like if you possess that skill, how can you earn from it?
All right, beautiful. I got part of what you were saying. I did not get it fully because of network, but let me just rephrase or paraphrase what you said to be sure before I answer. You're trying to know how you can integrate active listening in the practical sense. Am I correct? Trying to know how you integrate active listening in the practical sense to create value or to earn out of it. Is that the case? If it's the case, indicate with the comments. Okay. Now with active listening, like I said, for each of your skills, you're asking yourself, and so what? Now, your domain of active listening might not be the same domain with another person. Take, for example, Mr. X wants to improve on his active listening because he wants to be a public speaker. On your own part, you want to improve on active listening because you want to be a chartered accountant. You see, both of you need active listening, but in two different dimensions. He needs his to speak in public. You need yours to be able to communicate to your board of directors, to be able to actively go through recordings, transactions. You see, you listen not only to what people say, even to what they have written down. You look at documents, you analyze and all of those things. That is the active listening. So there are different dimensions of the same skill. So you ask yourself, why? Why do I need active listening? Identify your why. It is from your why now that you'll be able to know what you need to do. Another person wants to improve on his active listening skill because he or she maybe wants to work as a counselor or as a mentor. And to work as a mentor, as a counselor, you must be able to listen. Maybe he or she wants to be a pastor or is a prophet by calling, and you'll be offering counseling to people. So you must improve on your active listening. So either way, all of us must improve in our active listening skill. But then we have different dimensions in which we have to integrate the same skill. So from your why, it determines now what you need to do. Let me take the case, for example, of somebody who wants to work as a counselor or even as a public speaker. You know that you need that skill of active listening. You start asking yourself, do I possess the skill? If yes, you possess that skill, how then do I create value out of that skill? Which will be your next question. If you do not possess the skill, the next question should be, how can I possess that skill? So let me start with those who already possess a skill. Volunteer to work somewhere using that skill. There are many counselors in town, marital counselors, whatever the case may be. Even if it's just a 1 month something, just go there, observe, practice. Listen when people come with their complaints. Go to a church, volunteer there, listen. Your work could just be to listen to the people when they come with their worries, and then you direct them on which office they need to go and table their complaints to, and all they like. Listen. Could be to work in a consultancy firm, maybe as an accountant. You are working in a consultancy firm as a volunteer or as an intern. You listen when people come and they cry out their burdens in business. You take your time, you listen to them. Either ways, it is from your why that you will know whether you should go to a church to practicalize or to volunteer, or you should go to a consultancy firm, or you should go to a counseling organization. Are you getting? So your why determines your next step. That's why now we need mentors. Sometimes we might know our why, but we still face difficulties. We now walk up to our mentors and say, okay, this is the challenge. How can I go about it? That being said, I'll take maximum 2 more questions if there is any. Brini says, sir, must your why, like the case of the doctor, be bad scenario? No, it must not be a bad scenario. The essence is that your why must be strong enough. When I say strong enough, means that, okay, take for example, let's say you want to be a successful Cameroon businesswoman. That you want to make it here in Cameroon. Let's assume that it's your vision. And then tomorrow you wake up, they say they are playing American lottery, you're also playing American lottery. I will now ask you that, I thought your why was to make it in Cameroon. Why are you playing American lottery? And then you tell me, I'm just trying my luck. One never knows. I might make it, I might pass the lottery and go to America. It means your why is not strong enough. If your why is strong enough, you keep aside any form of distraction. Even if the distraction look like an open door, you will keep it aside. Okay. Miss Faith, I don't know why. Maybe you're not getting me, or you're not able to connect. Maybe it's your net. All right, Miss Faith, no issues. When you watch the videos, when the video is uploaded, you can watch and always come back with questions if you have any questions. And take note, this is a 4 weeks program. We cannot treat everything in 4 weeks. We are doing a rush. It's simply a rush. After the 4 weeks, you now take your time. You start from week 1. You go through the videos again. You start working on it and start bringing up your challenges. Okay, that said, no more questions will be taken. If you have any other questions, you can see me personally for them to be addressed. Let's move over to the next on our agenda, the Value Scramble Challenge. And I'll call on Miss Lydia. Miss Lydia, please continue from there.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, let's move on to the value scramble challenge. Please, if you're getting me, just type getting, please. Please, if you're getting me, type getting. All right, thank you. Now, about this value scramble challenge. So our mentor is going to display letters, and we are going to, just like puzzle, if you've ever played the game, you take letters or you link letters in order to form a word. So our mentor is going to display it. He's going to display the image for us to link letters together in order to form a word. And from there, we are going to explain something. Sir, please, can you display the image?
Please let me know if everyone can see my screen and can see the letters clearly. Indicate with the comments if you can see the letters clearly, please. Like Miss Lydia said, what you are going to do is identify words. Now, you are not creating the words. No. You look at the letters. They are words that have already been created. Just identify the word. Okay, let me identify one, for example. If you look at the first line, that's how letter G, letter A, letter R, letter A. If you go through to where you have letter L, you identify a word which is grateful. Grateful. That's what we are going to be doing. You will not take maybe letter G at the beginning, and then you come and you take letter Y, which is the last word down, and then you look for a letter M somewhere else, and then you now identify Jim. I see you can bring out Jim. No, you just look at the word, look at the letters the way they are, and spell out a word. So there are many words in this scramble. We want you to identify at least 3 of them. At least 3 of them. Once you identify them, type and send in the group. And if you identify a word, if you genuinely identify a word and someone has already identified that word, there's no problem. You can still send for the word. Don't think that because someone already identified it, you must identify another. But if you can identify others, it's good and fine. If you cannot, then bring up the one you've identified, even if someone else has identified it already. So we are going to have barely 2 to 3 minutes to do that exercise, and then we proceed. Miss Lydia, are you there? If not, then let me proceed with the value scramble challenge. All right, from the points that you identify or from the words you identify, please just give me a minute to change my screen. All right, this is a psychological game, and the game stipulates that the very first word you identify on that scramble speaks a lot about you. Lydia, for example, your very first word was loyal. Your second word, rich. Your third word, gentle. For the case of Miss Leslie, your first word, aspire. You aspire to be. You aspire a lot and all the like. Enrich. Enriching yourself, enriching those around you. Unity. The words you identify speak a lot about you. Someone will identify something else. Different people identify different things. But according to the psychological meaning of this, is that every word you identify speaks a lot about your personality. From the first word to the last word. The first word, let me call it your strong virtue or your strong discipline. The second word, I will term it your middle discipline, and the last word, I will call it your low discipline. You are low discipline. So, starting with Miss Lydia, loyal. I know you personally. You're a very loyal person, and it just speaks. It speaks out. It confirms it that you are a very loyal person. When you make up your mind that you're going to work for this or towards this, you are loyal to the vision. You give it your best shot. You do your very best. Which you aspire to be a wealthy woman. Am I correct? If I'm mistaken on the points you sent up here, the last point to be an international business lady. The other point is to be a model, very successful and wealthy. That is it. Very successful and wealthy. And down here, it just confirms it. Yeah, I'm talking about Britney. Maybe I made a mistake and called her a Tiffany. Your second point here talks about what you just wrote up to confirm that desire for wealth, that desire for riches. And the last point you identified, or the last word you identified, gentle. To be gentle. I know you were to be a humble person and all the like. And it confirms it. These words that you identify, I'll call them your key strengths. Work on them. Work on them. Let's go to the case of Miss Leslie. Aspire. You aspire a lot. You aspire to be a chartered accountant. You aspire to have your own rice company. You aspire to have a YouTube channel where you teach people how to cook in the rice. I'm listening because I know you personally. You have lots of aspirations. And this psychological game is just telling you that among all the words on that scramble, your aspiration comes first in your life. So you aspire a lot, which is good. Aspirations. You need to work on attaining those goals. Then enriching yourself, your future, enriching those around you. You are the type that you don't want to see people suffer around you. You want to see everybody's happy. You can sacrifice even your own happiness for the sake of other people, that they should be happy, that they should be peace and all the like. That's what the second point says. And the third point, unity. You admire that kind of a fellowship or that kind of a gathering where people speak in one accord. People are united. People are together. They work as a team or as a family and all the like. They have each other back. So it's just a psychological game that helps me and helps us to understand each other. Miss Faces and network. Okay, no issues. We continue. So after this scramble challenge, we were to have question and answer section. Is there any question so far? You have a question, just type question. If you don't have a question, just type no question. If you have a question, type question. If no question, type no question. Let's be fast about it. And while you're typing, let's go to our key takeaway for today. Key takeaway for today. I believe everyone can see my screen. So our key takeaway is our big one insight: self-awareness is the foundation of growth. There is no way you can grow without being aware of who you are. So the exercises today help you to be aware, to know who you really are, from your current self to your future self or your desired self. From the word Scrabble, the words you identified about yourself, and all of that, they all help to give you an understanding of who you are. From the icebreaker activity to true and one fault, all these was to help you know who you are. And like I said, you cannot grow if you don't know who you are. Take for example, if you're a builder and you don't know that you're a builder, how then do you improve on your disciplines or your skills as a builder? If you are a builder and you are doing accounting, even if you graduate with a first class degree in accounting, you will not have that self-satisfaction, that self-confidence. You always feel that you are lacking. People be like, wow, first class, wow. People be congratulating you, complimenting you. But you personally, deep inside, you don't feel that sense of fulfillment. Let me take myself, for example. I've studied a lot, online, on-site. Okay. People will be like, wow, we have a master's degree in project management. The truth is, I don't want to hear that thing, that project management. I just did that because I was looking for one thing. And after doing that master's, I did not get that one thing that I wanted to get. So to me, that project management master's certificate is useless. To me personally. That's why till today, I have not gone back to the university to collect the certificate. I've just abandoned the certificate in the university. Because I did not find that fulfillment, that purpose. I did not get what I wanted. But another person will be like, wow, you have a master's. You need to be self-aware. Know who you are. Know what you want. Know what to pursue. When to pursue it. How to pursue it. And why you are pursuing it. Not every open door, not every good thing is good for you at any moment. Next, your future self is shaped by today's choices. Whatever you want to do tomorrow, it will be determined by what you do today. And don't forget that this today we are talking about was once the tomorrow you spoke about. When you were in the primary school, you were speaking about a certain tomorrow when I will be in the university. When you were in secondary school, when I will be in the university, you were speaking about this tomorrow. And this is the tomorrow. What has changed between today and when you were in secondary school, when you were in primary school? If nothing has changed, then what guarantee do you have that in the next 5 years something will change? Your today is as a result of what you took yesterday, the decisions you took yesterday. Hope we are following. And your tomorrow is shaped by the things you do today, by the decisions you take today. If you decide to sleep like there is no tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, you will receive the reward of sleep, which is unfruitfulness, nothing to show for. If you decide to be so busy without planning and organizing your life, you can be so busy doing the right thing, so busy studying, so busy reading books and all the like, but nothing to show for. So busy doing things that you think are important, as long as you have not organized your life. If you are busy doing important things in a scattered way, you shall have no result. I repeat it again. If you are busy doing important things in a scattered way, you will have no results. You must be organized. Know before the day is starting what you need to do that day, what you need to pursue that day. Before the week starts, you know your pursuit for that week. Before the month starts, you know your pursuit for that month. This month, I'm going to be working on my self-confidence. So you now derive for the 4 weeks in this month, how will I attain self-confidence? You derive the strategies and share the strategies for each week. Week 1, I will do this. Week 2, I will do this. Week 3 and week 4, I will do this. So week 1, since I will do this, first day, Monday, I will do this. Tuesday, I will do this. Wednesday, I will evaluate. Thursday, I will do this. You practically organize your everything. Unorganized work does not give profit, but will make you very busy. Very busy. You'll be more busy than me. I used to always tell people, nobody's more busy than me. I mean, nobody whom I am mentoring is more busy than me. But then, I strive for, let me see, if I rate my accuracy and my time management skills to meet up, I can rate myself to 90% or so. But I'm always very busy. And though I'm always very busy, I am organized and I have time for leisure. I have time to watch movies. I have time to play games. I have time to go out and walk. Sometimes I just go on the stroll, 1 hour stroll, just strolling around, taking fresh air. And people in the quarter will see me and be like, wow, Sir Dave, you have time to stroll around. I'm like, why should I not have time? When people come close to me and they see me watching a movie, they say, Sir Dave, you watch movies? You see, because they know that if they were in my position, they will not even have time to eat. They will always be so busy. Why? Because you are not organized. But then you are doing important things, so you must be organized. And last but not the least, community accelerates development. When I say community, what do I mean? By community, I mean your association, your environment in school, your environment in church, your environment in social gathering, your family, your neighbors. They all form a community around your life. And that community can either elevate you up or pull you down. Community accelerates development when you learn how to manage your environment, when you learn how to integrate your environment with your vision. If you do not subdue your environment to your vision, your environment will end up subduing you to their beliefs. I say it again. If you do not subdue your environment into your vision, your environment will end up subduing you into their beliefs. What do I mean? Maybe you have to be a chartered accountant. You are from any village, might be, let me say, Inchibimpe. So you'll be hearing the name for the first time. Inchibimpe is an interior village. After Widikum, you pass Bifang, you pass Menka. Inchibimpe is a village that, if I'm to describe it, I don't know the English words I can use to describe how that village, it is so local, or was so local at the time that I knew it. No electricity, no social amenities, no roads. People can wear one dress there for 1 month. Like, in fact, the village is really local. So imagine you come from such a village. You are in a village and you want to be a chartered accountant. If you are not able to subdue your environment will make you believe that you cannot become a chartered accountant. They will tell you that, who do you know in this village that have become a chartered accountant? You cannot become one. It's something that only the rich people can become. People in town. You are in Chibimpen. Remember where you are. It's not possible. We don't even have lights. How will you be studying? And all the light, your environment will discourage you and will end up subduing you. If you don't subdue your environment, they will subdue you into their beliefs. You must, obtain and sustain a superiority belief system. Superiority belief system. Like I always tell myself, I can never be a failure. I don't care how the situation look like. I always tell myself, know this, David, you cannot be a failure. And I believe in that. I don't know anything about failure. So when people fail me, if I give you a task and you fail, I'm so disappointed in you because the word failure does not exist in my dictionary. You either succeed or you don't do it at all. So another person will be like, no, there are times that you need to fail, so you should learn and you learn from your failures. All is good, right? But my superior belief system says there is no such thing as failure. I don't believe in it. I don't say it. I don't speak it. I speak only success. I speak only progress. I speak only growth. That's my belief system. And anyone who comes around me, you must either adhere to that belief system. You must believe that there is no such thing as failure. Otherwise, I remove you from my environment. I remove you from my company. If you tell me you failed because you were busy, I delete you from my company. There are people that were so close to me, then later on I just get them distant. Some of them might not understand why, because I noticed that your mindset, you've been around me, but your mindset is not changing. You're around me, you're still talking about failure. You're around me, you're still talking about limitation, stagnation. No, that's not my mindset. That's not who I am. So anyone who comes around me must develop and sustain a superiority mindset. When you see challenges and you are running away from challenges, it means you are not part of my environment. If you are part of my environment, you know those challenges must come and you must overcome them. It's a must. Okay? Your community, your association, your environment accelerate your development. You must subdue your environment into your vision, or your environment will subdue you into their belief system. And I end with a quote. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. I want to believe that everybody was blessed with today's session or was blessed by today's session. So let's move on to our assignment for session 2. Assignment number 1 for preparation of session 2, which will be on Tuesday. Complete a reflective journal. Who am I really? Ask yourself that question and write down something. It could be a 1-page, 2-page. Who are you? Really, who are you? Like, seriously, who are you? Answer that question in an essay format. Write it down. Who am I really? Who am I? I know I am Mbana Faith, but who really am I? I know my name is Leslie Chebu, but who really am I? I know my name is Ngumbrini, but who am I really? You see, the apostles came to Jesus. People say you are this, people say you are that, people say. Jesus said, who do you think I am? But in this case, I'm asking you, who do you think you are? If you do not define yourself, your environment will define you for you. And if you allow your environment to define who you are, you will never live above your environment. You will never be able to subdue what defines you. I take it again, you will never be able to subdue what defines you. So if you are not able to define yourself and your environment defines you, you will not be able to subdue your environment. Before you can challenge your environment, you must start by defining who you are. My environment at one point saw me as a failure. David, you're a failure. David, anywhere I go, you're a failure. You're a failure. You're a failure. You're a disgrace. But there came a point I said, no, I will not allow my environment to define me. And I wrote it down in my book. I said, David, you are not a failure. You are a born success. You will exceed mightily more than the imaginations of those around you. I defined myself and I began to work on my life according to my definition. Who are you really? So in our next meeting, you are going to present to us who you are. You will explain to us, you will submit your soft copy document explaining who you are. Remember to write your name on your document. So when I download all the documents, I should know that this document was submitted by this person. Next, do a personal SWOT analysis on yourself. You'll be required to present your SWOT analysis in our next session. I believe we all know what SWOT analysis means. S on SWOT stands for strength. W stands for weaknesses. Letter O stands for opportunity. Letter T stands for threat. So when you write your journal, you do your SWOT analysis. Your SWOT analysis can be in a, you can draw a 4-grid table where maybe one section is your strength, one section your weakness, one section opportunity, one section your threat. Then I would love to hear from Miss Brittany. Miss Brittany, please unmute your mic. Miss Brittany, if you're getting me, kindly unmute your mic before I tell you what I want to hear from you. Miss Brittany, I said you should unmute your mic. That is what I said. Kindly unmute your mic. Okay, so this is what I want to hear from you, Miss Brittany. In one single word, how do you feel about today's session? One word, not a whole sentence, just one word. How do you feel about today's session?
Okay, so I feel like I learned a lot, and I can't wait to learn more. Because my mind has been renewed, and I believe there's a lot of things I still need to learn and know. Like this session has been so amazing, interactive. The little exercises you have been giving, though might just look like a game or it might not make sense, but deep inside, I learned a lot from all the exercises, and I hope to learn more. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that review. I want to hear just one word, actually, not a whole sentence. For example, excellent, perfect, very good, satisfied. You get just one word. So let me hear from Banapit. Banapit, Miss Banapit, just unmute your mic. Unmute your mic first, and then give us one word that describes how you feel after today's session. So, Miss Faith, we are waiting on you. Miss Faith network seems to be troublesome. All right, Miss Leslie, in one word, how will you describe how you feel after today's session?
Okay, so I feel very impactful.
All right, Miss Leslie says she feels very impactful. That's good. All right, and finally, I remind each and every one of you to write something short on what you learned today. It should not be long, just short. You don't need to write everything you learned today. Just pick one, something short, brief, write on it, post on our WhatsApp general group, not in the mentorship group, the other WhatsApp general group that I think we are 100 and something of us in the group. So that those who are not part of the mentorship session can equally read your write-up and learn something. So just write a summary of what you have learned and word of advice. After learning this or learning that, what word of advice can you give to those who are not in this program? That being said, we are equally going to send a link, I think before the end of today or maybe tomorrow. I will send a link for your feedback. Everyone is required to fill that feedback form before the end of tomorrow. If you don't fill the feedback form, you cannot attend the next session. So the feedback form is always sent after after every session so that we can know your stick on the program after each session and know how to plan better for the next session. And like I said, if we don't receive your feedback before the next session or before the deadline given, means you will not be able to attend the next session. So that being said, I would love to give us a word of prayer and then we call it a day. Wherever you are, please just be in a mood of prayer. Father Most High, we thank you for today. We bless your holy name. Thank you, King of Kings. Thank you, Lord of Lords. There is none like you. We cannot do it on our own unless you do with us. This session could not have been amazing unless you decreed that it should be amazing. This session would not have been impactful unless you made it impactful. Lord, we say thank you. May you continue to empower us that we may learn and we may teach for the betterment and growth of our personal and collective lives. Amen. That being said, for the sake of this record, you've been listening to the voice of the Chief Mentor of CornerStone Youth Empowerment Network. My name is Chair David, based in Bamenda. I wish you all a peaceful night rest. See you again on Tuesday, the same time for the second session. And hopefully, we might have a guest speaker in our second session who is a youth like all of us in her young 20s and is doing mighty exploit. All right, I'll be waiting to read all of your reviews tonight on the WhatsApp general group. Good night to everybody.